Welcome to 561 Music. My name's Ben.
And I'm Hector.
We're back.
I guess.
Yeah, we had a good time, didn't we?
Yeah, we did, man. Yeah, we did. I just, it's just, when you're gone that long, you hit the ground running, and it's just been mad since I got back, so.
No, I feel you on that one, man.
Yeah.
It's been the same for me. I know you very well, so I know that you are busier than me, but I'm pretty busy, I have to say.
I mean, I'm always busy, but coming back from like almost 2 weeks of not being here, I'm like stupid busy.
Yeah, I believe it, man.
That's
I believe
crazy.
it. So, yeah, the last thing that we did, if we're going to kind of like back this up against the other two episodes, I think there's two gigs that we didn't talk about.
Yep.
And the last one we played was Lake Lure,
Yeah.
which was just... Why don't you tell them about that place?
Yeah, Lake Lure, North Carolina, and the place was called Fey Nectar.
Yeah.
And, I mean, it was like walking into like a Dungeons and Dragons like fantasy cafe or something. I don't even know how to describe it. Like, it was a meadery, so they didn't serve beer or like hard liquor and stuff. It was mead, like good old fashioned, put it in the stein and mead.
Yeah, and it was good, right? I mean, I didn't
stuff.
have any, but according to all reports.
Yeah, well, you had the non-alcoholic mead that they had.
Yeah, that was some kind of what's that? It was like a type of a kombucha.
Something like that. Yeah, it was similar, but yeah, it was really good. And but the place is just really cool. I guess they started out at another location doing an occasional gathering or get together of a kind of a Ren fair, if you will, like a small gathering Ren fair.
It was at Odd, wasn't it?
It was at the Odd in North Carolina, in Asheville. And then somewhere along the way, man, they just took off, and 1,500 people started coming to this thing, and then it just got bigger and bigger and bigger, and now he has his own place. He opened up, I think, in May of this year, and now they do. They do these little Ren fairs there over the weekends, over certain weekends of the year. They do like a Highland games and stuff, and they do like sword fighting, and they have that whole field back there with all the obstacle stuff and everything, like the big logs and the big they had the big
trebuchet.
The freaking trebuchet, an actual, honest to goodness, working trebuchet. I wanted to launch James, but nobody would let me. But, I figured it'd be fun to launch James, but he didn't want anything to do with that.
Yeah, it was great. The lady behind the bar had like elf ears on and stuff. I mean, it was a trip.
Those were real, Ben.
Okay. Be careful not to be elfist.
Right.
But I had a really good time there, and both you and I are pretty diehard nerds, and so and James, and James has a D20 tattooed on his neck.
Right. Yeah, it was fun, man. It was a really cool place. It had a really cool vibe, and he's putting a lot of money into it and stuff, and he's expanding and doing some other stuff, and he's like, I think the other room in the back there that he's building out is going to be like a whole like tavern type feel to it, and then the one that we played in, the side we played in, is going to be retrofitted after that to be more, even more of a music venue style thing, so he can have bands touring through there all the time. So, yeah.
And we'll be back there hopefully in the summer. It was great. And then the gig before that was Burger Bar, where they do not sell burgers.
They do not sell burgers. No.
It's
literally just alcohol.
In Asheville.
That had to be the absolute tiniest, shackiest place I have ever seen or played at, and yet it had the most unbelievably fun vibe.
Yeah, absolutely.
It was punk rock, man. Like it was so punk rock.
For sure. It reminded me of like some of the gigs I've done in Europe where, everyone was kind of like rockabilly, kind of psychobilly vibe.
Oh, it was so cool, man.
They were playing like outlaw country when we got there.
And I didn't know what to expect. I mean, like we started setting up, the other band started playing, and there wasn't a lot of people there, and so I didn't know what to expect. And then all of a sudden it just filled out. Like suddenly there was a good amount of people there and stuff, and it was fun, man. It was a good time.
No, so we've met a bunch of people who we're definitely going to see again. Like I feel like the time we went away before, it was fine, but this time was different. It's like I feel like we made a bit of a dent this time.
Yeah, I mean, last time we went out, when we came back, we said, when we go on tour again, let's hit some of those same places and start building a following. But quite honestly, I mean, they were all fine, but they, I don't know. It just didn't seem there was no place last time that really seemed to fit us, and this time it seemed like everything was a hit. Everywhere we played, fit us, and that was great. We did repeat the Third Door in Marietta. We played that last time, and we played that this time.
And Fly's Tie too.
And Fly's Tie, but like everything else was new, and everything else was a good fit. You know?
Yeah. No, it wasn't. Flies Tie actually was the last gig before we came home, and that was wild, super busy, and it kind of feels like playing O'Shea's or something.
It is. It's like it's not huge, but man, they get packed in there every time. We played there twice now, and both times it's just been out the door packed.
Yep.
Yeah.
No, it was good. So we're back, and I know it's hectic being back, but I have to say I had a really nice time.
I know it sucks. I want to go back on tour.
Yeah, really. For real.
Life was simpler then.
So, we have Jammer Hooper and Mike Rivs from Killed by Florida. How's it going, guys?
Cheers, guys.
Very good.
Yeah. It's nice to see you.
Hell yeah.
Good to be here.
Excited to be on here finally.
Yeah,
Finally.
I know. It's you guys have been one of the bands that I've been hoping to get on, and actually over this next month, there's a few bands where it's kind of like, finally we got them on. Like some, good quality bands. Like when I think of you guys, it makes me proud of the Florida scene.
I was gonna say like a staple here in South Florida.
Yeah,
Thank you. Thank you. I don't even know what to say about that.
And we're done. No.
No, it's just the music is good quality, has a message, something to say, and the art is all fantastic, like a real band.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I don't.
We do it
feel
all
that.
for fun.
Yeah, we do it all for fun, and just to really, just to be part of it.
Yeah.
You know, it's a community.
Yeah, for sure.
Let's keep it going.
No, absolutely. So what we usually do on this show is we go back to your kind of like beginnings of like why you ended up playing music, and was your family supportive and stuff like that. So like how did you kind of begin in your musical journey, Jem? Where did it all start?
I mean, I've always sort of been, around music. My parents were not musicians. I mean, they were junkies, but
right.
but music was always in the background, always there, and it was always something that piqued my interest. When I was probably 13, I got my first drum set from a church.
Oh, wow, cool.
Yeah, and that was old Rogers set, and then I didn't really play it for a little bit. About 15 years old, I moved in with the Rainbow community, had this big open warehouse to just basically play with. And
for the uninitiated, including me, what is the Rainbow community?
Oh, God, filthy hippies.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, like...
Communes.
Yeah, basically, just I was a teenage kid living with a bunch of, just random travelers and people that just came by to, just... I don't know. It was like the Rainbow Tribe.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
and
they do like fests and stuff.
This is because you basically had to leave home?
Yeah, I was basically homeless at 15 years old. My dad left. My mom was gone. And, mom went to rehab and dad moved and left to New York. And I was 15 and just had nowhere to really go and popped around and found somewhere to stay.
Do you think do you think there's a part of that kind of tumultuous upbringing that made you want to express yourself with music?
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know. I've always written poetry, and I've always written lyrics, and I've always written like everything down. Just I don't know. Since I didn't start singing until Killed by Florida 9 years ago, but I played music since I was a kid. I was always a drummer,
right?
And but I've always written. So,
I didn't know that Killed by Florida was 9 years old. I guess I've been here for about 13 years, and in the first little bit, I was still kind of finding my feet. So by the time I really knew what was going on, you guys had always been around, kind of thing, So I guess I assumed that it's one of those bands that in my head is just part of the kind of patchwork and scenery of South Florida. But 9 years is not all that long, really, is it?
No, definitely not. I mean, we were. It was a couple different names before that. We were Tard originally.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then before, when I was playing drums, it was Causeway Cannibal. Yeah.
I feel
That's before me.
Yeah.
I've been in 7 years, so they were already playing when I saw them for the first time.
I have a memory about the Dead Kennedys gig. Did you go?
That was amazing. We were only Killed by Florida for like maybe a year.
Yeah.
It was like very new in what we were doing, and God just told everybody, just say you want Killed by Florida to play.
Yeah.
On the Facebook thing.
Yeah, just like everybody just say Killed by Florida, and everybody did. And I don't know, back then when we started that era, Ass Piss I don't know if you remember the band Askus.
Yeah.
They had just, sort of vanished, and their guitarist Dave was our guitarist. But a lot of bands had just went away. And, like, the scene really was, like, sort of dying, I feel. And then, I don't know, there wasn't many bands to choose from to play with the Dead Kennedys.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. 9-10 years ago, like, the Florida scene was very in flux at the time.
Yeah.
We did it. No Name Scar Band did it. And it was, we were on that bill, and it's like, as much as I felt totally honored to be on that bill, we're not like hardcore punk in any way, but it was, and I think that's why I remember it, because, we were both on the bill. It was a blast. That show was
It really was, and it ended up being pretty decent friends with Reagan Youth, and still like communicate with Paul and Tibby, and talk to, Reagan Youth. They support the Hell I Kill by Florida, which is
nice.
Awesome.
Really cool, yeah,
that's super cool. I wish they did more shows like that in the Kelsey, I know that, like, because it was so busy, and I know it changed hands and all this stuff happened, but like, it does, for gigs like that, it was great.
That was at the Kelsey Theater?
Yeah.
You know that they're for sale right now. So if you can gather up
like
$4 million of your closest friends to each give you $1, we can buy the Kelsey Theater.
Only $4 million. That's not bad.
Wow.
It's actually a bargain.
Yeah.
Does that come with the art gallery too, or just the theater?
I think it's just the theater.
It was funny playing that show though, like Dead Kennedys, no local bands near the Dead Kennedys, back room. And like Reagan Youth, we were just sitting in there just bullshitting with them, and like they came in and told us that we had to leave, and they came out to the parking lot with us.
Oh, nice.
And just like, we just sat out there and smoked and drank and like just hung out like people. And, it was.
I think that maybe if you've been I was going to try and make excuses for it, but I don't think there are any really.
Excuses for what?
Excuses for like being all kind of like not wanting to hang out, and all that. But I don't think there really is any excuses for it. It's just lame.
No, it's just lame.
To me, that was management.
It was a lot to do with Kelsey, I think. Like
it was also Kelsey, I think.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, it was their own, like, don't bother the touring bands, like
I've played with all sorts of like big bands over the years, and it just depends on who they are. Like Bad Brains, we hung out with them. They didn't care.
Yeah.
But then like bands that Real Big Fish, we hung out with them. But then there's been others who won't mention who. It's like the Velvet Rope kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean
TSOL was cool.
TSOL was amazing. DRI
carried their gear
cool.
in.
Yeah. TSOL was really cool.
DRI's been cool. The Radolescents were cool. We had Desca Fest, those guys from South America. Everyone's been fun. I've never had
Murphy's Law they're good people.
Had a problem at a show yet.
Yeah. No, most of U.S. Bombs, I mean, fuck them. I don't even know. Like, they absolutely, it was like big time. It was weird. Like, U.S. Bombs, like, hid in their trailer and didn't really, they were one of the most pretentious, like, weird bands I've ever played with.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Agent Orange, awesome.
Yeah.
Like, they are just absolutely down to earth, really cool, just a blast. Like, I'll play a show with Agent Orange anytime.
Yeah, I've heard Agent Orange is like that. I've heard from several people, Teenage Bottle Rocket is like that. They'll just hang out with you. And,
Fishbone. They just still hang. They don't care. They're just super cool.
That's awesome. Yeah, it's always good to have those down to earth people like that, and not try
I like to think I'd be like that.
Killbillies hang out with people.
Yeah.
I like to think I'd be, if we got like super famous, I like to think I'd be like that.
Yeah, like at what point of your fame do you like not take care of your own social media?
I just need 10 fans and then that's it.
Yeah, you're like, oh, my manager does that. Or like, what time do you stop
that's
like,
actually
answering
us,
text messages?
Because we pay them.
We do pay somebody to do our social media.
So
we're that pretentious band.
No, like I was wondering what level does it take where you just like...
Just having enough money.
Yeah.
Enough money and not enough time. So you're like, I'll pay it.
It's sort of weird and like it's not like genuine at that point. You get these.
So with the Killbillies one, the stuff that gets taken out, we do our own personal social media.
Absolutely.
But like the band one, it's like essentially what it is, because we play 2 or 3 times a week. It's just advertising the shows coming up and putting up pictures. That's that 90% of what Danielle does is essentially advertising.
Advertising,
Wonderful, but like you don't ever like do a little something personal on your own page?
We do. What happens is like what happened on the tour a lot was we would do a little story or a little, hey guys, we're out in front of whatever venue it was and stuff. We would post those on ours, and Danielle just keeps an eye on ours, and when she sees something personal that pertains to the band, she'll rip it and she'll put it on the band page. Yeah. So she does a lot of that stuff. Okay. So where we do it, and then she just takes it and puts it on there for us.
So and part of the reason why it works that way round as opposed to us just doing it is Danielle understands how the algorithms work and all that stuff. Yeah. And if we kind of mess up her situation, then we get told off by Danielle.
But in a good way, in a nice way.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
God, it's weird. Like the best responses I get out of the algorithm is posting shit that pisses people off.
Oh, of course.
Like you got to be like, ridiculous about it and just post shit.
Either that or like a picture of a puppy.
Kittens. Yeah,
but there's all these stupid rules for the algorithm. Like apparently, I posted something not too long ago, and it had a link to a ticket site for tickets for the show, and then she immediately messaged me back and said, hey, you need to change that because I guess Facebook frowns upon outside links on the post. Like you can put it. That's why you see people do it in the comments underneath it.
Okay,
they'll make their post
links.
And then they'll put the outside link like in the comment because the comment is the comment. But it frowns upon. So the algorithm goes, oh, that's an outside link. I'm not gonna. And unless it's a paid advertisement, they like kind of shove that one under the rug.
Yeah. So every time I post my Bandcamp link to our music, they're like, "Fuck you, basically, pay me."
Basically,
sponsor this, boost this ad.
Yeah, that's why like all those.
4 more people will see it for $25.
Yeah, it sucks, but the algorithms are an unfortunate, necessary evil that you got to kind of adhere to. So that's why that's what really Danielle is does for us most of anything else.
Like consistency, because if we were doing it, we'd do an okay job, but it wouldn't be consistent. You know what I mean?
Yeah, every day there's a post from her, and every day it's like photos from the last gig, photos of upcoming gigs, or photos of us with upcoming gig dates and things like that. She's very consistent every day.
Yeah. I can't get like I'm like the only one. He does okay. Like he'll post some stuff, but God, it's like impossible.
I have no friends, so what do I need to post? Every friend I know, So.
Our bass player simply won't. No, our drummer's like he's old, like not as old as this guy, but like he's like very much a boomer, and he's trying to figure out Instagram right now, and I applaud him for that.
Yeah, like if he's trying, you can't ask for more than that. You know what I mean?
He's like, what's a reel? What's a story?
What's TikTok?
Oh man, TikTok is a whole world.
It's a whole
nonsense. Do you guys do anything with TikTok?
No, supposedly from DistroKid, like we're on TikTok somehow. Right. Like our music, I guess, is there.
Yeah.
Don't exactly know how that works, but no, never.
No. I want to have nothing to do with it.
I was gonna say it just means that your music is available if somebody's gonna post a TikTok reel of some sort. And
can you imagine?
They have options. They have options to choose. They have choose different songs or whatever. It just means that your songs are in that distribution, available for them to put in Killed by Florida as the soundtrack of that TikTok.
Oh my God! Nice. I think you guys would probably do amazing on TikTok or something. It would be a splash.
I don't even know.
I don't know. We've had so many videos banned on YouTube and banned everywhere.
Inciting violence, terroristic threats.
I know.
Seriously?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah,
oh my
I
God,
make these videos.
I think we have 6 videos banned on YouTube, and every one of them are up for over a year.
Yeah.
Wow. It took them that long to catch up.
Yeah, not even. Sometimes I've been having some, now they're catching on, I guess, and getting more of them banned. Like
he gets
quicker.
banned more than I do.
Yeah.
Wow.
I guess when you're an anti-war band and you post, slaughtered children, they're like, oh my God, you can't show the shit that's on the news. Reality.
Are they banning like individual videos, or like after a certain amount of like videos banned, do they just shut your channel down?
Well, they're threatening that kind of stuff.
They threaten that, but there's time between each video. It's not like each week.
So there's a grace period.
Like I said, all of them are for over a year. I shared them 100 times, and then it's just like, boom, I get an email, and they're like,
but
really?
Okay.
I mean, and they're saying it's racist and it's an anti-racist song.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
People don't get that sometimes, man. Like Nirvana "Rape Me." People were like, "Oh my God, it's a rape song." It's actually an anti-rape song.
Right.
People just don't get that sometimes.
We do a lot of that. Like when I write my lyrics, especially, I love to use these like real right-wing terms, and hopefully I'll have like some fucking right-winger listen to my music and be like, "Yeah," when it's really like, "Fuck you, idiot." Fuck around and find out is one of our songs. Pray Away the Gay.
But that was the one I was trying. It was on the tip of my tongue. Pray Away the Gay. I was listening to it today. I've heard it a bunch of times, but I was like, that's the interesting thing about it is that unless you sort of like. Well, if you're kind of stupid, you would think maybe it was about praying away the gay.
We have another one entitled Asshole, which is like a big thing, the right telling the left that they're entitled, they're on welfare, but it's really about how entitled they are.
Yeah.
So that I like to try to make them think that we're for them.
Stir the pot a little bit.
Yeah, you got to stir it a lot.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
That's
we
fair.
love to push buttons.
This is fair.
Absolutely. And, it's funny, like they people like you're a political band. Are we? I talk.
It's more like personal politics, like issues, that actually affect you.
Yeah, or are we a culture war band? Because that's like what people think politics is nowadays.
Yeah.
It's sad. It's just. I mean, I guess some of it's a rebuttal against the culture war, and but we're anti-war.
Yeah.
Is that politics?
I mean, in a sense, it is. I suppose a political band would be a band that talks about politics, which you do. Like
I also talk about being a werewolf.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
not in every song, though.
Yeah, totally. I wouldn't say you're like solely a political band, but when you do politics, I mean, you do it well and you force it down people's throat. I think it's awesome.
But is it a right-wing werewolf or is it a gay werewolf? I mean, because then that's politics again,
To
right?
me, it's a song about being a werewolf,
asking the tough questions.
but the werewolf is the good part. The human is the shitty part.
I
there we
love
go.
that.
Yeah,
There we
so
go.
it's like, like more natural being a werewolf, and that's like,
That's awesome.
yeah, it's primal and hungry.
So after the biggest kind of like diversion ever there, which was awesome, let's get over to Mike. How did you find yourself playing music?
I grew up always loving hard rock music. Grew up in Texas. You had a lot of country, but you had a lot of hard rock. And I joined a punk band in '81. I got a job at MCA Records Warehouse as a shipping receiving clerk, and the band worked there. And they turned me on to Black Flag and Bad Religion stuff, and I was like, I want to do this. And I wanted a guitar my whole life. My dad would never buy me one. So the first thing I bought when I got my first job was a guitar and amp.
When did Bad Religion start? Do you guys know?
79.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
For some reason, I don't think of them as being like from that far back. I guess they are.
Oh, yeah. They're from that far back. Yeah. And then in '81, I joined the band Bomb Squad in Dallas.
Yeah.
And was in that for 4 years. And we burned out in '84. And then I never touched a guitar till 2015.
But you got to play with some good bands while you were there.
Played with a lot of the bigger bands that are all, Dead Kennedys, Black Flag, Circle Jerks,
Yeah. sick.
TSOL. We did Husker Du, 5 shows with them.
Wow.
Big Boys, Crucifix, Channel 3.
Yeah, man.
Did a lot of. We were there at the time when things were happening.
Yeah.
And that. Yeah. So
Real deal.
like I said, I burned out and then picked up a guitar in 2015.
So I feel like that early '80s period of punk is really when like American punk like found its voice. You know what I mean? Because like
Right.
the late '70s, the mid to late '70s with the Ramones and everything, was cool. But it's like then in the early '80s, I feel like it crystallized into a thing. Yeah,
The second wave of hardcore. I mean,
Yeah.
I liked hardcore.
Yeah.
Minor Threat. You get SSD.
Totally, yeah.
You've got, Bad
And when I
Brains,
listen
of
to
course.
when I listen to you guys, that's what I hear is that kind of early hardcore type sound. Because it's not like hardcore is now, like at all. You know what I mean? It's just basically fast, ballsy punk. You know what I mean? Which is awesome.
It's weird when you try to describe us as a band, and I've put a lot of thought into it. Are we punk rock? Are we thrash? Are we metal? Are we?
Every now and again, it is a bit metal, isn't it? Yeah.
But it's
Power
not
violence.
But it's not. Yeah, it's not metal. It's not thrash.
Yeah.
It's the most extreme bit of punk rock that there is.
Right.
I feel like we just push the limits of punk continuously.
We were talking about James and I were talking about this, listening to another band in the car a few days ago, and yeah, and he would say that that it's just like really just really kind of like sort of raw punk, and I would say that the way I would describe it is like early hardcore, like that's what I'd say.
What band was that we were listening to? I thought you were listening to Taylor Swift the whole ride.
Yeah. Anyways, you guys record your own music, don't you? Could you tell us a little bit about that?
This last album we recorded ourselves, which took too long.
It always does.
As most albums do.
It always does.
It always does.
But,
Yes.
you know, our first album we recorded with Matt Six from Unit 6 went fucking wonderful. Second album we did with DB Studios, and it was just an absolute nightmare. It was a nightmare. We ended up leaving and saying we'll have it finished somewhere else. Had to re-record the drums after everything was laid down, and it was just horrible. So the third time it was like, we are doing this ourselves.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like, let's do this. So we learned how to do it. Alex, our drummer, engineer.
Alex, okay.
Alex put in the time and effort to learn everything that we needed to know how to record.
What was he using?
Cubase.
Cubase, cool.
Wow.
Cubase, yeah. So we basically, trial and error and just kept doing it over and over again until we had some, good, solid, starting point. And then, we just tweaked it and mixed it ourselves. And, completely, nobody else touched this. I mean, the vinyls are always remixed, so the vinyl, no. But, it's what we think we sound like.
Yeah. I would agree. I've listened to it a bunch in my car at home and stuff, and it sounds good. I think the good thing about recording something yourself is the one thing you've got on your side is time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So if it doesn't sound how you want it to sound, you can just keep working on it until you get there. You know?
Right. We record every practice. So we listen
nice.
back, and I mean, that's how the songs grow.
Yeah, and our drummer Alex, he it's like continuous practice for him. So every time we play once a week, he goes home, he does a good little mix, he saves his, where his settings were, and we do it again and again and again until, he just keeps just messing and dicking with it until we're coming up with something really good at this point.
Nice. When you were recording it, did you like do it? Did you like lay the drums, then the bass, or did you record it all at the same time?
So how we typically do it is, I think the same as a lot of people, scratch track guitar, drums, and then the guitar goes back, lays it down, and, then we'll do bass line, vocals, and...
Okay, yeah. Because when you were saying that, for a second I thought you were just recording like all at the same time, which would have been...
And practice we do, and we've gotten some really good mixes out of practice.
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely. Really, the more we do in practice doing it, it's getting better and better.
Yeah, sometimes I wonder whether that isn't just the best way to do it,
I would prefer to record live.
The energy's there, which is really cool. We just went up a couple weeks ago to Orlando to Uncle Lou's and just record it with DC by PC, Danger Room Studios. So we just recorded a live split, hopefully, with Goat Rope. So we got Goat Rope from. We went up there, recorded, played a badass show. It was amazing. And
that place is always
we'll
fun.
split an LP with them.
Yeah, we're gonna split a 12-inch LP.
Nice.
DC by PC is gonna put it out.
Yeah.
And like that live energy is going to be all recorded and ready to go.
Oh yeah, man.
I feel like there's a little bit of a, down here at least, and with the people I know, there's a little bit more of a push lately to be recording that way, because we've almost taken like super under a microscope kind of very, very careful recordings as far as they can go, and they just finally people have realized that it sucks all the life out of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't care how hard you try to be genuine. When you got headphones on, staring in a microphone with nothing going on around you, you try, but it's not there.
No, it's not the same.
It's not the same, and it's not the same as maybe that voice crack you have in the middle of a song, or that little, that
bands sound better playing live.
The note he missed,
always.
the stick clicked of the drummer, the Mike Scala, our bass player's cracked voice when he screams out 2, 3, 4. It's absolutely every time 2, 3, 4. It's so bad. He just his voice cracks. He can barely even get it out.
There's all sorts of variations and stuff too. I know our last album. We recorded the album after we wrote it. We recorded everything the way we had written it, everything, and it was fine. I think the album sounds great. But there's something about when we're playing the live shows and stuff, me anyways, I keep adding little things here and there.
Absolutely.
So
yeah.
There's some songs on the album that although the album is great, I play them 1,000% better live because I've added a few little things that aren't on the album
all the time. Yeah, continuously.
Just changing a little here.
Yeah,
and there.
the live one that we just recorded up in Lou's, it's old songs. It's new songs. It's, everything. We did a little bit of everything. So
nice.
Songs that we had recorded with different I mean, entirely different musicians.
Yeah.
You know, I'm the only original member of the band now, so early songs record it way faster.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
Welcome to the club, Jem. Welcome to the club.
He's hating the speed of it. You know, he's getting too old. Yeah.
Well, 220 is fine. 250 is a little, you know, it gets
does
to a
sound
point.
great, though. The speed of you guys is just,
Yeah.
it's electric. I was driving
That's
my car
Alex.
around. I thought I was going to,
That's Alex.
I thought I was going to, like, get a speeding ticket.
Yeah, hopefully, right? Driving music.
It's
Yeah.
great driving music. It makes you want to get there quick.
Yeah. It's fantastic. So you got 3 albums, right? So the first one's your self-titled, Killed by Florida. Second one, Die Among Us. And then this third one here, War on My TV. So that's this, look. This is the vinyl for it.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Isn't it? Look at the art. Can you tell us a little bit about who did the art?
Yeah, that was Pooch from Alter State Tattoos, Boynton Beach.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
sick.
mean, he's like a local legend in the tattoo world. Yeah.
What does it
Guitar
depict?
world.
I like
I
to
mean-
call him a friend, and yeah, he
Yes.
plays guitar in Rape Tape, and yeah, he's absolutely amazing.
Amazing.
So
Yeah.
we've got like some kind of evil rich guy flying what looks a little bit like a thunder goose, actually.
It does look like a thunder
yeah,
goose,
some
doesn't
like a little bit like an ostrich, and then it's bombing the city with some toxic.
Yeah.
So it's just a kind of like a allegory for all of the terrible things that are going on in the world, I guess.
Yeah, and it's like, you know, it's supposed to look like a TV.
Oh,
it's-
that's right. Yeah.
So it's the War on My TV. You know, it's supposed to look like a TV screen. Yeah.
It's really cool.
We gave him a lot of freedom. We just kind of gave him a couple ideas. Jammer did what
Yeah, I
we
think
wanted.
that's the best way.
And he just,
He did a series years ago of these sort of steampunk creature things.
Yeah.
And, you know, I thought it was a good idea. So I was like, something in this style.
Yeah.
And yeah, then he ended up with that. And
I love to have the logo as a skull too. That's really cool.
yeah.
yeah, so we
Yeah.
made those actually in our own little stickers that we give out too, just
Yeah.
the skull and everything. He sent that to us separately.
Yeah, it's awesome.
No, yeah, the War on My TV, you know, to me it's like bitching about, you know, first world problems.
Yeah.
While there's people out there dying,
Yeah.
you know.
And you know, like no time more pertinent of that than right now. You know,
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's just insane out there.
Yeah. People are sitting there bitching about, you know, like the song War on My TV, you know, like I need new shoes on my feet, you know, can't decide what to eat, damn potholes in the street. There's a war on my TV, you know, and it's just like sitting there
Yeah.
just like complaining all day. And
That juxtaposition of like where you are. You know, there's just birds chirping outside and there's nothing going on, like a kid riding past on a bike. And then, you know, right there on your TV is just like devastation. Has always tripped me out. And I've written songs about that too, you know, just
Yeah.
that weird feeling of just like, well, there's nothing going on around me, but, you know, there is something going on.
Yeah.
Just not in
Yeah,
it.
I live pretty close to the airport, and I hear every once in a while like a military jet take off, or you
Yeah.
know, sometimes F-15s or whatever, and the immense sound. Like, can you imagine being in like a war zone? Like,
Yeah.
I hear it from the airport every once in a while, you know, and it's like, wow, that was strong. Like, that was, you know, something impressive flying through the sky.
Well, they
No,
got the
totally.
big helicopters and stuff. Sometimes they
Yeah.
get like 2 or 3 of those guys, and it's just it's like a.
Yeah, can you imagine being over there in like the middle of an active war zone where
No.
this is like a continuous, you know, barrage on your senses of just everything on top of everything.
It's just like unimaginable trauma. Unimaginable. You know, yeah.
Horrible.
So, like when you come to write your music, what would you say is your like? Do you just if something starts like bugging you or like something becomes sort of like an issue in your head? Do you just write about it? Is it like kind of almost in a therapeutic sense? You think you just kind of get it out?
Sometimes I write a lot, and
Gotcha.
sometimes it's
I
just
do
that.
see like poems online. And
Yeah,
stuff.
I just write and I put them out there. It's something I've done since I was a kid. My
He's
friends
got a
always
book.
Yeah, my friends
He's
used to
got a book.
laugh at me, like, you know, sharing your poems again. You know, I used to actually go to like poetry slams when I was
Oh,
like,
sick.
That's awesome.
Underground Coffee Works, like, you know, downtown West Palm.
Oh, I used to love that place. That's a blast from the past.
Yeah, you know, so like it's something I've always done, and you know, I've always liked to write. Some of it makes it to music, some of it not. Some of it was never even meant to be music.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, it's just throwing down your thoughts and seeing what sticks. And
And what's the process when it comes to getting that over the music? Like, does the band come up with sort of with music and then you just put the words to it, or is
sometimes,
it?
Yeah.
So it could be all
Most of the time, I would say, yeah, he will come up with a riff. This is Mr. Riff.
Yeah.
That's what he does, right? So we have a song called Mr. Riff.
Nice.
But, yeah, so he'll most likely come up with a riff. The drummer will start playing. We'll get a beat going, and then I've got hundreds of poems or lyrics or whatever you want to say written that I just sort of scroll through and, see which one fits. Sometimes one just pop in my head and be like, oh, that one I wrote fits this rhythm pretty good.
That has happened with us, hasn't it?
Yeah.
I feel like I'm not nowhere near as prolific as you, but there is like there's a similarity there. Come up with something and then I'll have some lyrics on my phone that fit it. But recently, Hector's been writing a ton. Hector's on fire right now.
Yeah, I don't know what happened.
Yeah.
It just happened. You never know.
So I had this accident and I hit my head. And
All of a sudden, I spoke French.
It just came to me. Yeah.
No.
The second record was pretty much I came up with riffs, and he fit his lyrics around it on a lot of songs. To where the third record, I came up with a riff, and we took enough time to where everyone in the band had input.
So
everyone had a change here, had a change there's an idea. It's really more of a band record. This record,
the second album and even the first album, like I would cut like a line of lyrics out if they didn't fit the riff. And the third album, it was like, no, we're adding an extra. You got to play that half more or one more time. Yeah, like you got to I've got more lyrics here. You can't just stop here right now. You got to keep. So a lot of that. I've had a couple songs. Like Never Compromise. I was like, this is an idea. I want you to play this. I want you. This is the rhythm. The best. I don't play guitar at all. Yeah. So I try to get some sort of an idea going. And
Tough Questions was from a drum beat you came up with.
Yeah, I play the drums a little bit too.
And I made up a riff to it and ended up coming into a song. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. So sometimes you get little ideas that I'm able to convey. And our drummer Alex, he's such an amazing drummer. Where if I have an idea. Very rarely do I have to sit down behind the drums and be like, try this. He hates that.
Because he does it more than very rarely.
But I'll be like, do this roll, and he does it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, maybe this will sound good here. Try that. And he does it. Like he's that damn good where he just I can suggest something and he does it. He hates it, and he wishes I would shut up most of the time. But I'm right most of the time.
I would doubt that. It could be a 50-50, maybe.
I punk rock to me, so many bands go boop tap boop tap boop tap boop tap boop tap boop 3-chord punk rock. It's the start, it's the stop, it's the transitions in between songs, it's the roll, it's it's the pause, and that's the kind of stuff I like to really try to shove in the face of these guys when we're playing. Is no, we need an ending. No, we need this pause on this word in the middle of this song.
You're absolutely right. It's the little stops. It's the every the small juke then back in and stuff like that.
Absolutely.
All of that
Hesitations. I call them hesitations. You take a breath in there about it. Yeah.
And Die DeSantis Die, that song. There's a song right in the middle of it. I say the word wait, and the whole band, wait. And we all pause for just that 1 second, then continue on with it, which to me, cool. It fits the lyrics. It's right there. The pause is perfect. And
wicked.
Yeah.
So I reckon this is a perfect opportunity for us to listen to some of your music. So why don't we do that right now?
Let's do it.
All right.
Wonderful.
Shit, we're at a blind disaster. What do I change? I'm comfortable with it.
We are also sponsored by Oasis Root. Now, Oasis Root Kava Bar is in Sea Grape Square on Indiantown Rd. And it is a kava bar. If you don't know anything about kava, it's a Polynesian root that you grind up and you mix with water. And it has been in Polynesia for potentially thousands of years. It's an old thing that they used for kind of ceremonial and also sort of leisure purposes. It's meant to be something where, that brings people together. You all take a shell of kava and chink them together and say bula and have it together like that. It's meant to be something to bring people together. It's has a kind of an effect, which is, I guess, a kind of a slightly warming effect. It just kind of makes you feel nice. It's not particularly intoxicating. It's not like drinking alcohol. So the atmosphere in a kava bar is sort of like a cross between a regular bar and a coffee house. It's pretty chill in there. You get all sorts of different types of kava bars. Some of them are more like a club, there's sort of like blacklight and EDM playing. And some of them are more like a cafe. This is one of the cafe type of ones. It's super chill in there. If you're looking for somewhere to, I don't know, maybe go and do some work on your laptop or go and have a chat with friends, it's perfect for that kind of thing. There's a foosball table in there if that's your jam, or baby-foot as they call it in France. And Jim, the owner, is a really cool guy, and he has very kindly sponsored our podcast. So thank you very, very much for that, Jim. They also do a poker night in there, all sorts of things going on at Oasis Root Kava Bar. 561 Music is sponsored by Live Music Community. It's where we film the podcast that you're listening to right now, and it's also where I work. Gavin, Hector's son, was a student here for a long time, and in many ways he's the musician he is today because of the teachers at Live Music Community. We taught him not only about his instrument, but also about being in a band, and his band, Unemployed Youth, accomplished a lot of goals, mostly band etiquette, how to work together, and all of the nitty-gritty that goes into being in a band on a day-to-day basis. The student signs up for lessons, learns their instrument, joins a real band, and decides the direction it goes in. And we can take people from very young age, 6 or 7 years old, all the way up to 80. There's no age limit here. We run an adult program for people who want to be in a band as adults, but really the main focus is on the kids and getting them playing together and in bands. We are also a studio, a live stream venue, and we can record audio or video. The Killbillies live album, Warts and All, was recorded here. It was recorded during a live stream that we did during COVID. Justin had a great idea to record live streams during COVID. A ton of bands came in, and it was a real success. But outside of that, we can record albums, we can help you with your EPK, and we have full audio-visual capabilities here. LMC is in Palm Beach Gardens on the northwest corner of Military Trail and North Lake Boulevard. It's north of the gas station, right before you get to North Lake on Military Trail. And if you go to livemusiccommunity.com, you have all the information you'll need right there. Thanks. All right, so we were just listening to that ad for Live Music Community, which is where we're sat right now. So it's a good time to ask you guys if you have any advice for upcoming or young musicians.
Don't give up and try and just put yourself out there. Like, that's what we did. We just continuously just berated promoters and just like, I know they think I'm a nerd and like I suck and he won't leave me alone. But any show, anytime, I put my name out there, throw my hat in the ring, and just don't stop.
Squeaky wheel, man.
Yeah, don't stop. Don't stop.
I've been on both sides of the fence with this one. Like I've done a little bit of promoting, and at one point I was booking for a venue, and I can tell you from that perspective, the squeaky wheel, it gets the grease. It does, because you keep seeing it coming, and eventually, even if it's not someone you particularly want to have, and you're like, all right, it works.
You got to, though. They don't know who you are.
Yeah.
And there's 100 other people doing it, but, you got to, unfortunately follow some of these bands online, see where they're coming to town, the bigger bands. And, I hit them up, and the promoter's like, can you at least wait until the show gets announced? Or, can you, just try to, just hold off for a minute and stop, bugging me about playing every show that comes.
Are you reaching out to the promoters for these bands, or are you reaching out to the
bands,
to the bands themselves?
The bands are tough to reach out to, I find out.
Yeah.
Some aren't.
Yeah, they're like, I'm just a drummer. I don't know what you're talking about. Like, I'm just this. So we have a booking agent. Like, you got to email this. You got to do that.
But you never know till you ask them.
Yeah, I do that sometimes where, and it's bigger bands and stuff that are coming through town, and I'm like, oh man, we were pairing nice with them, Dropkick Murphys or something, for example, or Flogging Molly. I'll reach out to them, and, through social media, but I've never had one even so much of acknowledge me.
Yeah.
Well, that's a different level band.
So if you're listening, Dropkick, we're ready.
I mean, as cheesy as it is, or like, I've got no shame of who we are as a band. I'm not like, I never try to big time somebody and act like we're the biggest shit around. You know, like for us, I think the next step is getting into the Revolution and Culture Room.
Yeah.
That's like our next step. We played every local venue. We played with the biggest bands. We've, done everything we can at this level. And now my next step is, how do we get into Culture Room? Yeah. How do I open for the fucking Circle Jerks, Descendants, Adolescence that's coming?
Yeah.
I'm going to go play.
I'm going to go to that.
Like how do I get on that?
Yeah.
And I cannot get an answer from anybody of how to contact Revolution, who to talk to, an email, a phone number.
No, we have contacted Revolution. You have to send the press kit.
The request forms online. Yeah,
we've done that for years.
It's who you, unfortunately, with all of this stuff, it's who you know. It's just like networking, figuring out who's kind of close to the decision-making process and just trying to, get in front of them somehow. It's most of the time it happens by accident just because you meet them in a bar or something like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Or, do coke in their bathroom. Like that's like, unfortunately, like what it is.
Yeah.
And it's sad. I feel like us as a band, we've done what any other local band has ever done. And, I think we're good at it. I think we're professional about it. We get on the stage, we get off the stage. We're not idiots. We don't act like assholes. And, there's no reason to me that we can't get on this besides I don't know the right people. The fest in Gainesville. I have emailed Tony at the fest over and over and over for the last 7 years and gotten bullshit auto responses about we're booked, sorry. Email them 3-4 times a year. We'll play any year. I don't even know what to do. I fill out their forms, I send the requests.
Yeah, it's tough, man. I was going through a phase a few months ago. Ben does a lot of the booking for us here locally, and we've got a few promoters that will book us consistently at certain places and things like that. I tend to when we go on the road and stuff like that, I tend to try to find venues for us when we're on the road. And I went through a phase about 3 months ago where I was reaching out to every and any festival that I thought we would be a good fit for. I didn't care if it was fucking Alaska. It didn't matter where in the United States it was. I used to just reach out to places in Florida. Then I just got, okay, well, I'm just going to reach out to everybody. And I just started reaching out to everybody. But you're right. In some cases, all you can do is fill out the form, and then you never even get a hey, thanks, we got your...
right.
Nothing. You don't even get a reply even not even
an
auto reply.
Yeah.
Not even an auto reply.
Sometimes,
but
it's hard enough getting on festivals around here. Never mind. Just because there's so many. Because the competition is so high.
It is.
So it just ends up being. I reckon half the time it just ends up being people know. It's just
that's exactly right.
Nepo babies.
I don't know. We've been a band pretty predominant throughout South Florida. You think the people that run Revolution or Culture Room don't know the name Killed by Florida?
Right, yeah.
You think this name, or do they just, hate us? I mean, just fucking tell me you hate me. Come on, whoever you are. Just say it. God, I don't know, something.
Yeah.
God damn it.
I know. The silence sometimes is unbearable. So, Headed for Disaster. It's the last tune on this album, War on My TV, and we just played it. Could you tell us a little bit about that song?
Yeah, that's a great song where I tried to, which I don't do often, was write sort of minimalistic lyrics, where I leave a lot of space in between my verses and what I'm saying, which I don't do often, but I had a good thought for that. It's just about a lot of climate denial and just
we just wrote a song about that.
Yeah, just not thinking that the inevitable is going to happen. And just like, the first lines of the song is keep fucking around, not giving a shit. We're headed for disaster.
Yeah.
I don't want change. I'm comfortable with it. We're headed for disaster. I don't know. I'm not that smart. We're headed for disaster. We'll figure it out one way or another. We're headed for disaster. And like, that's what it's about, is just being just like ignorant to it and not caring and figuring,
Yeah, that kind of willful ignorance.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's literally that's what we just wrote one of our new songs about.
It's almost a line in our song. There's no sense in ignorance. It's only common sense or something.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, open your eyes. The world's on fire. Why can't you see? Can't remember.
Your excuses are getting tired.
That's it.
There's no sense in
ignorance.
It's obvious. It's common sense.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Very nice.
Very nice. Yeah. In the middle of the song, there's just a nice like break where it's just like fuck around and find out.
Yeah,
like I love to like I said, throw in those right wing like little things there, and
I find that I don't want to get too into it, but that's the thing that blows my mind about the situation we're in with the climate is that there's still people who'll be like, oh no, it's all just natural cycles. It's not us. There's still people who say that, and it just blows my mind.
But like maybe it is, but maybe we can do something to lessen that.
Exactly. Exactly. That's my whole thing with it. Is that maybe it is, but just in case it isn't, let's try and do something.
There's grand solar flares or something. They started like the sun is bigger than ever, and it's like. Do you not see the black smoke spewing out of your diesel?
Right.
Like matter can't be like destroyed or like created, right? Yeah. It's there forever. Yeah. And it's like, where is that going?
Yeah.
You think it's not going somewhere, Yeah,
it drives me bananas. It really does. It drives me absolutely bananas. So
it's so dumb.
You got some gigs coming up, innit? And I wrote them down here. So you have what's the first one on here? So Vero on December the 2nd.
Yeah, Vero. We're going to play at the Stamp Bar in Vero, which is
always...
always...
the Stamp?
We haven't played there, but I know it. Yeah, it's a cool place.
Always
great.
Cool. Yeah.
Talking about
cool
small
place.
venues.
Yeah, that's a cool
great
place.
Little place.
Great
I love
little
the
place.
Stamp. Joe Grover runs it.
Yeah,
cool.
He does real well.
Absolutely, yeah. And then after that,
you've got Radolescence in Melbourne and Respects.
Yeah, Radolescence. It's the adolescence, but it's the Radolescence is like all former members, and So in Terminally Ill and the Hodge. So it'll be really cool. 2 shows.
Yeah.
Thursday, Friday. Hit them up in Melbourne. Come down to Respects in West Palm.
That's really cool. And then in the beginning of February, you're going to play some shows with Modern Natives. I think we've been chatting to them too. We might end up doing some gigs with them as well.
Yeah, I think they're coming down for a little bit.
They tour continuously.
Yeah, February or something. So they hit us up about playing a show or two with them.
So. And even before that, January 5th, one of my really good friends is coming down in the Sheehy. Okay. Out of Athens, Georgia, with the Pauses.
Okay.
So we got the Shakers, Sheehy, and the Pauses going to be at Propaganda January 5th, which will be really fucking cool.
Yeah, nice one, man.
Yeah.
Well, it's great to hear you're keeping busy. Any ideas have you been writing more tunes since you released this?
Yeah, absolutely. What have we got?
We have 9 new ones I want to release an album a year. That's my goal.
See, I'm torn on that.
Like David Bowie.
I want to do 4 songs.
I'm elderly.
I want to do 4 more songs, 2 LPs, and then I want to do a 12-song afterwards with all like an extra 4 songs,
Yeah.
And put them all together for a full length afterwards.
Well, the way that we released the whole thing last year, and this time we're just going to release 1 song at a time.
Yeah.
We're just going to do it to
Spotify and all the algorithms and shit. They want that. They want continuous stimulation.
Well, what we figured out was twofold. One is we dumped the album out on about this time last year, November last year, and it was like all this like, hey, check it out, we did this and whatever, and then it just kind of fizzled out, and it's like it's hard to keep promoting the same thing over and over and over again. It's not fresh material.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then the second thing is like you're saying with the algorithms and stuff, like all of it, Spotify, CD Baby, DistroKid. Everything is really geared and designed to promote one album, one song, one song at a time.
Yeah.
And so if we do one song, even if we did, like you're saying, a 12-song album, and we did 1 song a month, for an entire year, we've got content.
Right,
exactly. And then you release the album after the year.
Yeah, absolutely.
See, I was thinking doing 4-song EP.
with the last song,
4-song EP. And then
that's what the Shake did. Is they're in the middle of it. They're doing 4 songs, like over the course of a year, like four times four songs. Yeah. I think
but we're always writing.
That's
every
great.
practice we're
awesome.
doing something new. Yeah.
How often do you guys practice?
Once a week, religiously.
Excellent.
Yeah.
That's excellent.
Yeah.
And then the other thing I was curious about is, in terms of do you practice your instrument when you're at home?
Yes.
You do? That's awesome.
Just a few weeks ago, I sent them a riff that I came up with. Because when I write a riff, it's not just a section, it's like the whole song.
And he'll record it on his phone, send it to us.
And I recorded it on my phone because I got the little cube.
Yeah, man.
And I sent it out to him. I'm like, can you do anything with this? And he's like,
I listen to it. I pick out lyrics that might fit it, and then those lyrics don't always stick one way or another. And
and the riff is definitely going to change once everyone's input comes.
So I suppose like practicing writing is just writing, isn't it? There's not really
For me, it's memorization.
All right, yeah.
Yeah, and my brain never stops. I'm sitting there like continuously repeating lyrics through my head.
Right.
Especially if it's like the first time, like we're gonna play it at a show coming up. Yeah, I will repeat it over and over and over again until I absolutely did not miss one word, didn't have to think about it, and it was just like naturally coming out of my mouth at that point. And then I'm like, we're ready to play.
I'm doing the same with riffs driving.
Yeah.
I'm playing that riff over and over, come up with something different, and the only way I can remember is my voice memo. They laugh at me because I got like 150 riffs in my voice memo.
It's funny. I only just recently started playing around in Logic. And doing some stuff in Logic, and even that is still very rudimentary.
I don't even know what Logic is.
It's like Cubase.
It's got Cubase.
Okay.
I only just recently started doing that, but for the longest time, I'd say, "Hey Ben, I have this idea for a song," and I'd go here, and I'd send him a voice memo. And voice memo with like really, really rough, chords and whatever, and then he'd take that and do something with it. But like that's the only way I could send
do
it
it
to
at
him.
2 o'clock in the morning when you're
mouth.
sitting there and you come up with something. Don't know where to do it.
I've done that.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, because I don't play guitar at all, so it's like, here, try this.
Yeah.
Like I put my phone up, I send them that with these lyrics, and
That's funny.
yeah.
Yeah, you never know where a riff or music comes from. It just happens. That's what's so great about it.
That's a great part about recording every practice too.
Yeah. I the Shake. I keep bringing them up today, but they do that. Record every practice. And No Name, we recorded every practice, and it's something that Killbilly should get into really, because it's great because you forget stuff. We always record once we've got the tune done. Whatever, if we're writing, we always
on
record
the phone, on a voice memo. We just play it live and record it into a voice memo, just so that when we revisit it the following week or 2 weeks later, or whenever we get back together again, we've got a solid
where you were at that time,
where we were at, the structure that we came up with, and
right.
Any little nuances and things that we had changed are there, and we're not going to forget them.
Sometimes for me, being a former drummer, like sometimes I listen to drums, he'll just hit this roll.
Yeah.
Or he'll do this or that. Sometimes on accident, sometimes on purpose. But, I'll remember it. I'll be like, remember you did this then? Like, you need to do that again.
Yeah. That's funny.
That was good. Listen to that.
So we were sort of just starting to touch on, before we started recording, we just kind of somehow got onto the subject of recovery. But then I don't necessarily want to talk about recovery so much. But the one thing I do want to talk about is you were saying that you might start, handing out, Narcan your gigs.
Yeah, that's something I've been talking about for a minute, and I'm trying to really move this forward. I think it's very important. Everybody should have some.
Yeah.
Do you have some in your car right now?
Right, exactly
we actually just I had this conversation with my wife just recently because I'm a diabetic, so I'm at the pharmacy all the time getting my stuff, and I went to the pharmacy maybe a month or so ago, and for the first time I had noticed that they just had Narcan sitting on the counter for you to just pick up and buy, and just little kits.
They just changed laws.
Yeah, it was it was the first time I had ever seen that, and my first reaction was like, wow, are we there as a society where you just need to have Narcan now?
Yes.
But my second reaction was, it's in my first aid kit now.
Yeah.
Because
absolutely.
You never know who you're going to come across
and
who's going
alpha
to need
male
it.
shit right there.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're like, oh, alpha male, I hate people. I'm racist. I'm alpha male. No. That's alpha male.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I know it is. And the fact that I think that my favorite thing about what Hector just said is that it's very telling of his personality in the sense that he was initially a little bit kind of confused and shocked about it, but then he absorbed it, listened to arguments as to why. Now he's got some. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and even let alone Narcan, but fentanyl test strips.
Yeah.
And like the education behind it. So what we're trying to do is I've got somebody that's going to be making like a little zine almost, an information packet to be able to give out also and educate people that, to test your cocaine for fentanyl is going to blow your whole load. You're not going to have to waste $10 on doing it. It takes a pin drop. Just a little bit, and they'll test like 10 different types of fentanyl that could possibly be in it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's as simple as that. But educating people that, it's not taboo. It's not, something that should be frowned upon. This is saving people's lives.
Yeah, and that's exactly it, because it's...
We've had friends and band members affected by it.
Oh, you pull the...
Yes.
I'm sorry. Yeah. You pull the curtain back, and then it's like that's actually the reality of the situation. Almost everyone's family has someone in their family who has some kind of opiate situation going on. Yeah. Almost everybody.
So like I don't even know if I should bring it up, but like I'm talking about harm reduction.
Yeah.
Condoms also. Why not? Let's have a bucket of condoms sitting there on our fucking merch booth for anybody to pick up. Why not, right? Saves one infection going out.
We're doing Kill by Florida condoms. That's they will be
so funny.
made.
My son's band was trying to come up. They're doing this big cross country tour in January, and they're playing like the friggin' what is it, the Whiskey A Go Go and the Viper Room, and they're playing a lot of really cool venues. But they were just going through this whole like we need merch, and so they were doing T-shirts and stickers and all sorts of different logo stickers and things like that, and they came up with wanting to do condoms. So they've been researching and trying to find a company to like get all that done. With basically condom packs.
I still have my Pantera condom when I saw them way back
with
in the 80s.
with their logo on it and stuff. But I think it's a great
harm
idea.
reduction is harm reduction, right?
Yeah.
Anything you could do to help the stop of the spread of disease and suffering and death.
No, exactly, dude. Exactly.
Plus, it's just funny.
Yeah.
All right, so the what we've got going on this weekend is Hector and I are holding the fort down because James is away at a banjo camp.
Oh.
So
sounds like he's 10 years old, man. James is away at banjo camp.
I know. Yeah.
This one time at banjo camp.
Yep.
Yeah. So Hector and I are doing it duos over the weekend. We're playing at O'Shea's from 9 to midnight on Friday.
9 to 1.
9 to 1 on Friday, and then we're playing at Square Grouper from 3 to 6 on Saturday, and then we are playing Paddy Max from 9 to midnight on Saturday night. And it's going to be a lot of fun. I think I'm going to leave the snare at home and just do the kick, and Hector's going to be providing the snare on the old double bass there.
Yeah, just doing a little slap. Slappity slap.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. We've done it before, Hector and I doing duos, and it's always a blast. I can't wait. Just mix it up. Cool. Might even try out some other random throw you under the bus for some random jabs and stuff like that.
I mean, I'm up for it. I was actually thinking maybe we break out one of the new tunes, but I don't know if that's taboo.
We should do it.
I'm down.
Yeah, we should have 100% do that.
Yeah, for sure, dude.
Yeah, and talking about practice, maybe we can squeeze one in before the weekend.
Yeah.
But all right. Well, listen. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you for having us.
It's been an absolute pleasure.
Been fun.
Yeah.
Wicked. You guys are super cool, and I respect what you do, and that you stick your neck out and you say what you feel and what you think about things, and you're not afraid to do so, and that is worthy of respect for sure.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's been fun. Yes.
Like somebody told me before, I was given a microphone and stage. Say something important.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, totally, man.
Yep.
Our socials are 561 Music Podcast, and the website is 561music.com.
That is correct.
Yeah, and if anyone wants to reach out about like buying some sponsorship or anything like that, we could use that. This is we don't make a lot of money doing this, so if we don't make any money.
We don't make any money doing this. In fact,
we spend money doing this.
It costs us money to do this.
Yeah.
Anybody who wants to sponsor or anything like that, it's highly appreciated. The money goes into the production of the podcast. It goes into local stuff that we do, putting on local shows and things. We've been putting on some local shows. In fact, we've been partnering with some different entities around here. Long Live the Scene and stuff.
Yeah.
We're doing a toy drive show with like 10 bands in December. We do our our big festival in April. So
Yeah.
I mean,
and at least to the end of October, we've got every other Tuesday night at Double Roads. I don't know exactly what's going to happen with that beyond that. But if you want to come to one of those, there's going to be a fun one next week, the 31st.
And all that stuff costs money. So if you want to help Ben and I not be in the poorhouse,
yeah, absolutely.
That'd be much appreciated.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, the Tuesday 31st at Double Roads.
Halloween night.
Yeah, it's a Halloween night. I after work, I'm going to show up there in my skeleton costume, so you don't want to miss that. All right. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Yeah.
See you later. Woo.